Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Old School English Teacher. I hope you've been practicing your simple sentences, your compound sentences, your complex sentences, and those tricky compound complex sentences. Remember, good sentence writing is the foundation of good writing. Today we're going to talk about building strong paragraphs. Let's begin. What is a paragraph? A paragraph is a brief unit of written communication using a relatively fixed form. I'd like to compare the paragraph to building a house. Your sentences are the foundation. The paragraphs are the walls. Now, not all paragraphs look the same, nor do all houses look the same, but they all have basic components. Let's look at those components of the paragraph. The first element of a paragraph is the topic sentence. It's kind of a mini thesis for this unit of writing. We also have supporting details, transitions, and a conclusion. Let's examine the topic sentence. The topic sentence is the controlling idea or the main idea of the paragraph. The topic sentence reveals both the subject and the attitude of the writer. Now we know what subject is. That's what we're going to be writing about. That's our topic. But attitude, that's a little more subtle. That's our word choice and also how we're going to handle the topic. What is our perspective about this particular topic? So that is attitude. And I've given you an example of a topic sentence here. Attending college has resulted in a major change in my home life. Now I want you to remember that topic sentence because we're going to use it a little bit later in the video. Now let's talk about supporting details. Supporting details are concrete rather than abstract. And here is an example of what I mean. The house was beautiful. Beautiful is abstract. This is a grammatically correct sentence. But it's not doing any heavy lifting. It's really not doing what it should be doing in the sentence. So I've given you an example of a sentence that is concrete because it's using details. The French colonial house was elevated on a grassy hill overlooking the sleepy Missouri River. Do you see that's how it's a little bit more engaging and we have a visual? If you're not creating visuals, you are probably being too abstract. All right, let's look at another quality of a good supporting detail. Supporting details should be specific rather than general. For example, the garden was filled with every type of flower imaginable. Very general. Now, a more specific sentence would state, the garden was planted in roses, tulips, daisies, and chrysanthemums. You see, we get a visual because we used specifics. The third component of the paragraph is transitional words and phrases. Transitions are a bridge from one idea to another. Transitions are necessary between sentences and paragraphs. Let's look for the transitions in the following paragraph. Returning to college has resulted in a major change in my home life. At first, it was tough trying to juggle all my responsibilities, my children, home, husband, and homework. Therefore, notice that nice transitional word, one night during dinner, I had a talk with my family. I explained to them that I needed help in running the house, especially with cleaning, cooking, laundry, and taking care of the animals. As far as everybody wanting to go here and there every afternoon and evening, it was all going to stop. I was running myself ragged. The talk with my family paid off. As a result, another transitional phrase. Now when I get home at night, dinner is cooking, the chores are done, the house is clean, and I don't have to go anywhere. So we have a very focused topic sentence. We have lots of very specific details, and we have the two transitional phrases. And a nice concluding sentence. And so thumbs up to supporting details and transitional words and phrases. Okay, here's an example of some typical transitions. We have dozens and dozens of transitional words and phrases in the English language, and some of the reference books that I have recommended have a list of those. You can go on Google and also get a list of transitional words and phrases. And so it's a thumbs up when we use transitional words and phrases, because that creates cohesiveness in our paragraphs. Okay, the fourth element in our paragraphs should always be a concluding sentence. The concluding sentence signals that the paragraph is finished, or it's shifting to another paragraph to complete the idea. But whatever it does, whether it's concluding or signaling that we're shifting on, we are moving on to the next paragraph. We are moving on to the next idea. So here's your student practice. Student practices are critical because, we go, yeah, I get this. I've been, my teacher's been teaching this since elementary school. But here's the problem. We don't really have the skill until we practice the theory. So let's practice the theory until it becomes a natural skill. So I am suggesting that you write a first-person narrative using 6 to 8 sentences. Use simple, compound, and complex sentences. Remember your transitions. Begin with the topic sentence, and I'm going to give you one to make it easy. I've had good jobs, and I've had bad jobs. And remember to use descriptive, concrete, specific details to make your story come alive. Now, I would probably do 2 drafts of this. The first draft, I would just write the story. The second draft, I would make sure that my sentence structure is correct and solid. I would make sure that I have my transitions. And I would make sure that every single thing I say supports my topic sentence. If it doesn't, kick it out. I would remember to use concrete, specific details to make my writing come alive. This is what I came up with. I've had good jobs and I've had bad jobs. I had my best job at 15. Every Friday night I walked down to the Mitchell's house and I babysat their 6-month-old infant. I arrived at their house at 8 p.m. and the baby was asleep. Mrs. Mitchell left a package of Oreos, a bag of Fritos, and 2 cans of Dr. Pepper on the kitchen table. They paid me $40 while I did my homework and watched TV. One time, Mr. Mitchell came home a little drunk, and he gave me a $50 bill. The Mitchells were the best people to work for, but I couldn't honestly call that work. Okay, let's examine the components. We have a topic sentence, and then we have all of these details. I didn't highlight all of them, but I highlighted some of them. And then we have a little transitional phrase, and then we have the concluding sentence. Now, if I were to continue this, I would probably write about either another good job, or I would write about some of the bad jobs that I've had. We've all had those bad jobs. But this indicates that I've finished my discussion about the Mitchells and that job, and I'm going to move on to another topic. I want you to remember the structure of the paragraph, the topic sentence, the supporting details, the transitional words and phrases which create cohesiveness, and the concluding sentence that signals that we have completed this unit of thought and we're moving on to another. Now, I wanted just a little postscript. Not all paragraphs follow this formula because we have the English language that we're working with. There's always exceptions to every rule. Some paragraphs are one sentence, and maybe the writer is doing that for emphasis. Also, when we write dialogue, we begin a new paragraph when a new person speaks. So there's always exceptions, but when we're doing academic writing and we're writing body paragraphs, this is the typical structure that we should follow. I have a book recommendation. It's called Writing Clear Paragraphs by Robert D. Donald. And I would recommend that you buy this used, keep it on your bookshelf, and use it, refer to it, if you're having trouble with your paragraphing. I recommend this for grades 9 through 12. It is a wonderful book. It really examines the paragraph. That's all it does. And it helps you learn how to write different kinds of paragraphs. So that is my recommendation for today. Well, I hope you work on your first person narrative using all 4 elements of the paragraph. And I hope that you will practice until you are excellent at writing strong narrative paragraphs that use good description. And with that, I will say goodbye, good luck, and good writing.